Welcome to a guided meditation for temptations on Declutter the Mind. In this practice, we're going to use mindfulness to help us manage temptations. And a temptation is a thought, a perception, a memory, a feeling, a sensation. And it might arise randomly through the day, or it might arise as a result of something reminding you of that temptation. Either way, it's an object surfaced in your mind, usually without any control. So, what we want to try and practice here is not acting on our thoughts, not following the thought or memory or feeling. We want to simply notice these temptations as they appear, and then we can note them or label them as thoughts, images, or feelings, and then allow them to pass. Allow them to go through us like a wave. So then being mindful of our temptations and becoming a witness to them instead of a victim can help us better manage them as they come. So first, let's find a comfortable seating spot, whether that's a chair or cushion on the floor. And now let's sit upright with our hands resting in our lap. And with your eyes open now, let's take in a few big, deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And now on the next out breath, let's just gently close our eyes. And to start here, let's bring attention to the physical sensations around us. Maybe it's noticing the legs touching the chair, the feet touching the floor, the arms touching the lap. And maybe you notice other sensations around here, such as warmth or coolness of the room that you are in. Maybe it's a tingling sensation or comfort or discomfort around the body. And just sitting with these sensations for the next few moments. And now let's take our attention from these physical points of contact and bring our attention now to the breath and the body breathing on its own. So we're not forcing the breath here. We just want to observe each breath as it passes, noticing the body breathing on its own, allowing yourself to receive each breath as it passes. And see what else you notice about the breath here. You may notice the rising and falling sensations of each in breath and out breath. And maybe you notice this around your chest or stomach. Maybe it's around your lips or the tip of your nose. And as we try to maintain our attention on the breath, this is where we may notice thoughts begin to enter the mind, begin to attempt to take your attention away from the breath. You might even catch yourself having wandered for several minutes, completely forgetting that you were even trying to meditate. And this is completely normal. So, whenever this happens, we just gently return our attention back to the breath. And when we do this, we don't make judgments around our thoughts or get lost thinking about our thoughts. We can gently make a note or label like, oh, yeah, a thought, or just a thought, and then gently bring our attention back to the breath. This is part of what mindfulness meditation helps us practice. It's noticing the thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise, and then making a note of them without acting on them or following them, simply allowing them to pass on their own. And if a temptation surfaces as you are doing this practice, we treat it the same. We gently make a note or label, oh yeah, a temptation, and then allowing it to pass on its own before softly and gently returning our attention back to the breath. And as we sit here and do this, realize that we can do this with any distraction or thing that pulls our attention away from the present moment. So if we hear a loud noise or if we get a physical sensation or feeling, again, just make a note of what it is that distracted us and then gently return your attention back to the breath. And now let's count the breaths as they pass. This will help us further ground our attention on the breath. So every time we reach a count of 10, we start the count over and then we count the breaths again. And now, in the final few moments here, just let go. Allow the mind to do what it wants for the next few moments. And slowly now returning your attention to the body, noticing the legs against the floor or chair, arms and hands in the lap. And gently now open your eyes and notice how you feel. So you can use this practice as a tool that you can turn to the next time you recognize temptations. So begin to recognize your temptations as thoughts, as memories, as feelings that you don't need to follow through on. Notice what happens when you sit with a temptation and wait for it to pass, like a wave that comes and goes. It takes practice. So start with 5 minutes a day of this kind of mindfulness meditation, and then work your way up to 10, 15, and then 20 minutes a day. Thanks for sitting, and I'll see you in the next session. Thanks again for taking the time to practice. If you've enjoyed this practice, please be sure to like and subscribe. You can also join and become a member and receive access to courses and more. Head on over to declutterthemind.com for more and download our free iOS and Android app.